2010, finding a very warm welcome in this club, the RC of Carluke. His talents and enthusiasm were very quickly recognised within the club, and we in district are glad you did that, as he took on the club webmaster post, and within a year, all too soon, he was thrust into becoming the club president, which he held, as we've heard, for 2 years, 2012 to 14. Archie's skills were also recognised beyond the club, further afield, because he was noble to become the district webmaster in 2013, a job that he carried out extremely well, revolutionising some of the outdated practice that had gone on. And he's only just relinquished that post. In forming my district team for next year, I saw the enormous potential and commitment Archie brings to his work. And I'm delighted he agreed to become the district chairman of our Marketing, Public Relations and Communications Committee. Archie, with his usual real modesty, questioned whether he was really the person to take this on. But he said he would give it his best shot. And he's already given ample evidence of his capabilities. For example, he's produced and reintroduced the district directory for 2014. And I can give you no better example of Archie's commitment. This morning, and I had a very full diary today of other Rotary activities, but I had to get down to Carluke Lifestyle Centre to make a booking for a later activity in the year for our district. And really it caused me a lot of grief, and it meant very early to travel down to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Archie stepped in late last night and said, "Look, I'll do it, I'm close by." And that's just a kind of commitment that we require in district. Not somebody looking for any glory or whatever, just doing the mundane jobs, but it's that kind of thing that happens when you assist somebody else in a tight spot. I didn't ask him to do it, he offered, and that's the difference. As club members, you will all be well aware of what Archie has brought to your club during his term in office. Higher local profile, Archie making sure that the club has many photographs for the archives, greater interaction between the club and local groups in the community, including your high school, and the local press are certainly on the case as far as Carluke goes. Young children are learning of Rotary ways through the Rotakids group, started at High Mill Primary School, with other schools waiting in a queue to sign up. He's played an important role, along with other club members, in seeing the club awarded the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service in 2013. And Carluke remains the only Rotary club in our district, and indeed the world, to receive that accolade. He's played his part in the club being awarded Community Service Award from the Provost of South Lanarkshire Council in 2014. Archie, of course, would be the first to say this was not just me, that he was only one of many in the club, and that has made such high achievements possible. But nonetheless, I think you'd all agree he's played an important part. I could, of course, also add that you're the only Rotary club which was required to be rescued because of snow by the North West Mountain Rescue Association of Northern Ireland, whilst an outing there in 2013 in March. But we'll not dwell on that. In his workaday life, and you might say, does Archie have any time left to do anything other than Rotary? He's got a fine record as an engineering quality control manager, having worked overseas in the desert hothouses of Saudi Arabia and Iran, as well as in the glorious kingdom of Shotts, just up the road. He's presently the owner of the Romeo Sports Car Company, specialist in supplying bespoke classic collectible specialist automobiles for the discerning collector and enthusiast. As if that's not enough, to keep himself busy, he's also the owner, managing director and head of the laboratory at Croan Instrumentation Limited in Falkirk, which specialises in the calibration, sales, hire and repair of various instrumentation. I don't know if you ever see him at home. As we're going to ask Archie to become a Paul Harris Fellow this evening, the 30th of June 2014, we have the great honour of recognising Archie Ralston. What of Archie the man? Well, I've worked alongside Archie in the district. team. He's a real asset to the district and passes the Rotary four-way test very readily. He's great fun to be with. Out at the RI convention in Lisbon last year, his sense of fun and absolute mischief shone through. And I'm sure you must see that occasionally here too. Archie, you're probably sitting there thinking, why me for this? I'm sure your good wife Nancy is also thinking the same. In 1957, the Rotary Foundation, founded in 1917, wanted to encourage individual Rotarians to give larger contributions to our big Rotary charity, and such individuals were given a special form of public recognition by being named Paul Harris Fellows. This then morphed into a club's givings being totaled as well to be able to put towards allocating a Paul Harris Fellow to somebody they thought worthy for exceptional service note. Whether by individual contributions or by total club contributions, the Paul Harris Fellow annually raises huge sums to support our charity, the Foundation. Interesting to see how different parts of the world award Paul Harris Fellows. There'll be some here who are not aware of these differences if you're not into Rotary. For example, in the States, when you join a Rotary club, it's not uncommon that you pay your Rotary fee, whether it's $100 or whatever for the year, but you also have to pay another $1,000 to become a Paul Harris Fellowship there and then, a Paul Harris Fellow. In the UK and in other parts of the world like Australia and New Zealand, where we're just back from for the convention, that's not the case. It is for exceptional service recognised by your fellow club members, and that's the way we generally operate in the UK. I'm not knocking the other direction, but for us it really does mark out why this award is so special in the UK context. It's your peers that are recommending you. It's not something that you get yourself. So that's a high challenge, a high task to get through. I'm greatly enamoured by the fact that we have over 1 million Paul Harris Fellows in the world now. So that's a reminder that we live in a world where there are many more people who are good than are bad. The presentation of the Paul Harris Fellow recognition is the Rotary Foundation's and your club's way of expressing its appreciation for a very substantial contribution to its humanitarian and educational programmes. It's named after our founder, Paul Harris, a Chicago lawyer who started Rotary International with 3 business associates in 1905. I don't think any of you are here tonight. Rotarians often designate a Paul Harris Fellow as a tribute to an individual whose life demonstrates a shared purpose with the objectives of all that Rotary stands for, and that's what we're celebrating tonight. So this evening, Archie, we have the honour and pleasure of recognising you as a Paul Harris Fellow. I think you become the 10th in the club in recent times only to achieve this. Archie, you should also know that you join many other well-known and not so well-known figures in becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. For example, US President Jimmy Carter, Russian President Boris Yeltsin, US astronaut James Lovell, and several UN General Secretaries. So there you are.
Don't tell me Bill Clinton's in there.
No, well, I don't know. Archie, you have been designated to receive this prestigious recognition as a special appreciation from your fellow members of the Rotary Club of Carluke. A real honour indeed, being recognised, as I say, by your fellow members. A world of peace and goodwill comes closer to reality today as Archie becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. It gives me enormous pleasure, as your incoming District Governor, to ask you to stand, Archie, as we present you with the 3 emblems of appreciation given to any Paul Harris Fellow: a certificate, a medallion and a pin. Treasure and wear these with great pride. You join a remarkable company of persons throughout the world. We all congratulate you warmly and thank you for your commitment and ongoing commitment to the world of Rotary and our foundation. I give you Archie Ralston.